in another area, he seems to be walking a tightrope with that I think we'll get a little more in depth on here is guns as well, because you've had Youngkin. There's an interesting dynamic there too. You've had Youngkin not seek out the endorsements of the NRA, the Virginia Citizens Defense League. He won't fill out their surveys, their candidate surveys, so he has not been endorsed by either of those groups. While at the same time, he clearly has positions that are a stark contrast with Terry McAuliffe, who is staunchly pro-gun control and wants to implement a new assault weapons ban, and in the past has supported even confiscation of firearms like the AR-15 or the AK-47, whereas Youngkin is opposed to that and has said so on record. So Youngkin is also walking a bit of a tightrope on that issue, and McAuliffe, or at least I guess perhaps McAuliffe's allies in this case, not him directly, have gone after Youngkin for exactly that, but in a way that is fairly underhanded, right? You had a new PAC come in, set up shop in July, pretend that they are some sort of gun rights group and run a bunch of ads. Actually, I just got one of these ads served to me on Facebook today. It's a Thursday when we were.
My wife got one yesterday.
Yeah. So they're still doing this.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, it's still active. But these ads, they attack Youngkin for not seeking out those endorsements. So they're acting as though they're a pro-gun rights group, but they've been set up and are run by a liberal consulting firm that uses Act Blue, which is the nation's leading progressive fundraising operation, to raise their donations. So clearly what's happening with these ads is disingenuous. They're trying to go after Youngkin from the right on guns. They're targeting Republican areas of the state and Republican leaning, or at least, conservative leaning voters like myself and Miss E down there in Farm Bill, in a clear attempt to suppress turnout among gun owners and help Terry McAuliffe. Now, interestingly, we found out who was behind these ads, right?
Or at least who was one of the contributors. Yeah, Dominion Energy. And the reason why I found out about this is because they declared this, right? It wasn't that the PAC itself said, okay, Dominion has given us money. It was Dominion that reported it in their finance reporting. And $200,000 donation to this PAC that, as you say, is designed to depress the turnout of gun owners in Virginia.
Right.
And so
Dominion is a power company. It's a utility.
Yeah,
it's the largest one in the state.
Exactly. It's a huge energy company. And and so what's interesting is the Democrat running for lieutenant governor, Ayala, I can't remember her first name. She had vowed not to take any money from Dominion, right? Because the left doesn't want to be seen as cozying up to the corporate interests, right? Because they're all about going after Wall Street. Well, she reversed her position after the primary was over and accepted a very, very large donation from Dominion as well. And basically said, yeah, get over it. This isn't a direct donation to McAuliffe.
Right.
But it's in essence, it's an in-kind donation. But the way that, and look, if Dominion was spending $200,000 on ads for Terry McAuliffe, that wouldn't be nearly as big a story.
Or even against Glenn Youngkin just outright.
Right. But
it's the underhanded nature of it.
But funding ads that are deceptive, right? That's the issue. Because look, like it or not, I mean, you can decide what you want about Glenn Youngkin's decision not to seek the endorsement of the NRA and the VCDL by not filling out their questionnaires.
Right.
But he's answered that question, and that's his response. He says, I didn't fill out anybody's questionnaire. So he said it wasn't, that it wasn't trying to seek the nomination. He said, I just didn't fill out anybody's questionnaire. Again, believe it or not, like it or not, that's his answer.
Yeah. And that's how a lot of these, when they do these sorts of underhanded tactics, which obviously is not the first time that somebody has done this, has funded ads that have nothing to do with their interest because it hurts a candidate they don't like, right? That's not new. It's sleazy. And it's one of those, the combination of sleaziness and commonness is one of the things that turns people off about politics.
Do you remember the American Hunters and Shooters Association?
Yes, this happens with guns quite a lot, right?
It does, right? And so, every election cycle, it seems, somewhere, you get one of these AstroTurf gun groups that pops up and, tries to tell you. What's interesting, though, is that normally in the past, like American Hunters and Shooters Association, they were running ads saying things like, John Kerry is a sportsman and he'll protect your rights. But it generally wasn't attacking the Republican as being soft on guns. Right. Like that. There's an extra layer of crumminess and sleaziness to this beyond just the typical AstroTurf.